I'm in a co-working space in Valencia. It is the 4th of December 2024. So I am now entered for the Valencia Half Marathon and Marathon 2025. What have I done? I have been alluding to it, I've been hinting at it, I've had comments on Strava, Instagram, YouTube about it. I can no longer keep it on the wraps. So yes, I have been training for my very first marathon. The plan is to take part in the Valencia Marathon this December, and just thinking about it is terrifying. And yes, I did get my entry last year, but I really thought I would end up transferring it to someone else. But here we are. So I guess I've got some catching up to do. I'm gonna take you through the process, why, how, when I decided it was time for me to do this, when the training block actually started, when I decided that yes, I was definitely keeping my entry, my goals for this first marathon. All of this was also taking you along on my workout of the day. For starters, I guess, why the Valencia Marathon for my debut? Well, long-time watchers will know that I absolutely love racing in Spain. I've only had great experiences racing in Spain, and of course I wanted my first marathon to be in Spain, and I wanted a course that is as flat as it gets for my first one. So really it was between Seville and Valencia. Last year we were at the Valencia Marathon because Ben was racing it. The marathon atmosphere on that weekend was incredible. You could feel it in the air, and that's when I really felt the pull to do it more than I ever had before. Like, I was ready to enter a marathon. And Ben had already decided that he was not going to do Valencia Marathon this year because he's doing Seville February 2026. So the two together, they're too close. Doesn't work. And for my very first marathon, I need Ben on the sidelines supporting me. It cannot be a marathon where we are both on the course. Me not seeing Ben, me stressing about how Ben's race is going, also stressing about running my first marathon. I just can't do that. So I decided, okay, I'm not doing Seville. And we were still there a couple of days after the marathon last year. Registrations opened, and that's when I got my entry. I've just arrived at the cycle track to do my session today. So the workout on paper doesn't seem that hard, but in reality, you do feel it. It's the volume more so than the intensity that you feel. So basically, after the warm-up, I'm going to do 20 minutes on the faster end of my steady pace to build fatigue in the legs. And then I will do 5 bar 1K tempo effort, then a cool down. So earlier this year, when I was talking about my goals and my races, I didn't mention the marathon. And I guess that's because I had commitment issues. I wanted to leave myself the option to postpone my marathon debut to next year. I didn't want to announce it and then backtrack. And also, it was already a big deal in my head, just me and Ben knowing about it. I guess I didn't really want YouTube and Instagram and everyone to know about it, and maybe expose myself to opinions, time predictions, maybe unsolicited advice. But I realized that this marathon has been living rent-free in my head for quite a while now, so I might as well talk about it. And also, when you start logging 32-kilometer long runs on Strava, well, it is hard to keep it a secret. People start to guess what you've been doing. Almost at the end of the warm-up, I'm gonna get started on the steady block in a minute. So in my decision process, there were a few checkboxes that I wanted to tick off this year to put myself in a good position for my first marathon training block, because I really respect the distance. I want to give it my best shot, not just rock up and hope for the best. First of all, I wanted to see if I could handle back-to-back big weeks of training. I'm talking 95 to 100 something kilometer weeks. I also needed to ensure that I would be able to handle the longer long runs, both physically and mentally. So we did a few 25k, even a 30k run before even starting marathon training. That's the steady block done. Now I've got 3 minutes easy, and then I'm going to move on to the kilometer reps. tempo effort. Another thing is I wanted to be absolutely sure that I was doing this for myself, not because it's cool on social media, not for the kudos, not for the likes, just for myself. So if I were to stop making content tomorrow, would I still train for this marathon? And the answer is yes. I totally would. Now you see, I happen to love documenting my life. I don't do this for the views. My channel hasn't exactly taken off, and yet I'm still here making videos for my own memories. 3 down, 2 more to go. Now that I'm marathon training, like, it's even more important for me that every session, every long run goes really well, and I feel like I'm kind of like celebrating every session that goes well, because I'm like, wow, okay, I'm actually doing this. And lastly, before committing to a marathon that is at the very end of the year, I wanted to see how the first half of the year was going to pan out, how I was going to do with my goals in other distances, and if for whatever reason I hadn't been able to train consistently, I don't think I was going to throw myself into my first marathon block. Session done. Cool down now. That was good. I put the stats of the session on the screen. I've not really looked at them, but I'm pretty sure I was where I needed to be in terms of paces. So although I did my first 30-kilometer long run in July, the official start date of this marathon training block was the 5th of August, same as when I started training officially for Valencia half. So yeah, we decided to do this 2-in-1 training block. So starting early August, I was 12 weeks to the half and 18 weeks to the full. But you know, still at the start of August, there was a chance that I would drop the marathon because I was quite stubborn and I really wanted to treat Valencia half as an A race. So I really wanted to be training for a half marathon, which is a bit different to training for a marathon. And I just didn't want Valencia half to be just a pit stop on my way to the full. So if it turned out that we couldn't quite make this 2-in-1 training block work, well, I knew that I was going to focus on the half and drop the full. Now, in a way, fitness is fitness, and there are things in any training block, regardless of the distance, that are similar. But in this instance, really the challenge every week was the long run, because I needed some of my typical long run workouts that I do when I'm training for a half marathon, so 20 to 22k with a fair bit of intensity, you know, those long run workouts that I love. At the same time, we needed to start building my durability and my ability to run longer distances. So we also needed to start plotting in those 32 kilometer long runs in there. Luckily, Copenhagen half came into the picture, confirmed very last minute that I was going to do this race, but I'm really glad that I did, because at Copenhagen half, I ticked off my sub 82 goal, which is what I was going to go for at Valencia half. So now that I've ticked it off, I don't want to say that Valencia half is no longer a goal race. I still hope that I'm going to be able to extend my half marathon PB streak, but it is less of a priority. Like right now, we actually need to really be marathon training. So it is hard not to think already about what could happen on race day, you know, what sort of time could I dream to run, if all the stars aligned, if there was no unfortunate heat wave like we've seen in London and Berlin. But at the same time, like, it's going to be my very first marathon. So many things can happen and can go wrong. So right now I'm really focusing on the training and the training only. Most in my head, I'm separating the two. So the training is kind of like mission 1, and I can have a successful training block. And then the race day is like mission 2. So I decided to set training goals first. Goal number 1 is do my very best not to get injured. Obviously, the load is increasing, I'm putting more stress on my body, I am asking my body a lot, so I need to look after it also a lot. And there's always an element of luck with injury, but at the same time, there's so many things you can do to try and not attract bad luck, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm trying to do all the little things to stay injury free. Goal number 2 is not to fall out of love with running. I absolutely love running, and I was scared that maybe by doing a marathon block where you're running a lot, what if I would lose my love for it? Because what if it was too much for me? And that's why I waited until I was absolutely sure that this is what I wanted, because when you've got a 20 miler on a Sunday, especially when the weather is not great, you've got to really want it. Otherwise, you're really put off by running, I think. So yes, goal number 2, still love running at the end of this training block. And the third goal is kind of more about celebrating every milestone in training. Like last week, my first ever 32-kilometer long run. There will be probably a 35-kilometer run further down the line. Those training wins that show that I am progressing as a runner, becoming more resilient, more durable. I really want to hold on to them and to celebrate them. So, long story short, the TLDR of this whole video is that I felt ready to train for my first marathon, and I realized that I will probably not feel ready to race a marathon. I'll just have to prepare the best I can and go for it on race day. We're now about 3 weeks out from Valencia half, 9 weeks out from Valencia marathon, my debut marathon, if all goes to plan. Oh my days. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe if you've not already to follow along this marathon training, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!